The transition into retirement can be a very stressful time, but are retirees worried about the most significant risks? In this video, I'm going to talk about a study that was completed by the Center for Retirement Research at Boston College that compared retirees' perceived risks versus their actual retirement risks. I'm going to talk about the 5 biggest risks that survey respondents worried about. Then I'm going to talk about the empirical findings of the study ranking the actual impact of these risks on retirees. The differences might surprise you. And then we're going to close off the video discussing some steps you can take to mitigate the largest risks in retirement. And if we haven't met yet, my name is Mark Walhout. I run an investment advisory and financial planning business called Walhout Financial. I created this channel to share ideas and concepts that I'm using to help people with retirement every single day. If you want to get more videos like these, consider subscribing to the channel and hit the bell icon so that you're alerted when new videos are posted. Now, before I talk about the results of the survey, I'm going to talk about the approach that the researchers took when they were building out this work. So they started with data from the Health and Retirement Study. It runs every 2 years, and they survey about 20,000 Americans over the age of 50. It's seen as the most comprehensive study of older Americans, and the results are seen to be of very high quality. Now, the first question you might be asking yourself is, why are we looking at a US study? This channel, after all, is about Canada and Canadian retirees. There are differences between the Canadian and US retirement system, but I did think that the results were interesting enough and applicable enough that we should talk about them here in Canada. So in addition to asking retiree survey respondents about their housing wealth, their investment wealth, their healthcare costs, they also asked the respondents to answer questions assigning probability to different outcomes in retirement, including longevity, future market volatility, market returns, how much money they would need to transfer to family members, so supporting children, grandchildren, and also projecting the amount of healthcare costs that they will need to pay out of pocket in retirement. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen, and we're going to talk first about what people's perceived risks are in retirement, and then we're going to go to what the survey or the results of the study found were the actual highest risks in retirement. So we'll start by talking about the highest perceived risks, and topping the list was market risk. Not surprisingly, the highest risk that the survey respondents assigned to their retirement plans was the risk that the market would be volatile or that returns would be low. The next highest risk is longevity, the risk that they live a long life in retirement and they may run out of money. The third highest risk, health risk, the risk that they would need to pay out of pocket for healthcare expenses in retirement. That was ranked third. Ranked fourth is family risk, the risk that they would need to provide money or give money to family members to support them. And then finally, policy risk. And here what they're talking about is the risk that the social safety net system in the United States would have to be changed or benefits would be lowered. In the United States, they have Social Security. In Canada, we have Old Age Security and Canada Pension Plan, which are different programs, and the realities around the programs in Canada are very different than the US system, but we still do have similar systems, and I thought it would be interesting to share the results of the survey. Now we'll talk about what the actual results show are the real risks to retirees based on the study. The first highest risk is longevity. It was ranked number 2 by respondents in terms of what they assign probabilities to as far as risks go in retirement. But in the results of the study, what the actual highest risks are longevity, like the risk that we may live a long life in retirement and we may not have enough financial resources to support us if we live a long life. The second risk from there is health risk, the risk that there will be higher healthcare costs in retirement that are unable to be provided for retirees. The third risk is market risk. And I'm going to pause here because it was ranked number 1 by survey respondents in terms of probability, what they feel is going to be the highest risk for their retirement. But in reality, in this study results, it was ranked 3rd instead of 1st. And I think this sort of strikes to what is sort of put in our face every single day. The perceived risk of the market is sort of hammered at us by financial news media. We're consuming it all the time. So it's not hard to believe that people would maybe assign it a very, very high level of risk, or we perceive it to have the highest level of importance as it relates to our retirement and risk to our retirement. But the results of the study show that it's actually kind of in the middle of the list. It's 3rd on the list. From their actual risks, number 4 is family risk. And then closing out the list is number 5, public policy risk. Now, we'll go ahead and we'll talk about some of the findings of the study and sort of key takeaways. So I think the big one is that, while market risk sort of takes the headlines and it really is in the forefront of our mind when we think about risk to our retirement, it's important to think about it, but maybe we should think harder and longer about some of the other risks to our retirement. The first one being longevity. How do we solve for the problem of having a long life? It's a nice problem to have. We hope to live long and healthy lives in retirement, but the reality is that living a long life means that we're going to need to have financial resources there to support us. So a couple things that come to mind, we've talked about it on the channel before, but there is a lot of power in deferring your benefits like Canada Pension Plan and even old age security. Now, those are payments or benefits that are guaranteed for the rest of your life, regardless of how long you live. And if you delay them beyond your normal claiming ages of 65, you can increase those future inflation-adjusted benefits, and those serve to be a really good protection against that longevity, that really long life that we hope for, and we hope, again, for it to be a healthy long life, but we need to make sure that there's financial resources there to support us if we do live a very long life. We can also think about things like annuities, and we've talked about that on the channel before, exchanging a lump sum of capital for a stream of payments that's guaranteed to live as long as you do. This can also provide a very good protection against that longevity risk. From there, we think about things like health risk. Now, again, the healthcare system in Canada is very different than the healthcare system in the United States, but there still are healthcare costs that may pop up for us in retirement that we need to be thinking about. So maybe think about what would we do from a financial planning standpoint in the event that we needed to move into some sort of assisted living situation. Talk to your planner about how your plan would hold up to that situation if it did arise. We can also think about things we can do proactively to manage our health. So maintaining an active lifestyle in retirement, eating well in retirement, taking care of our mental health in retirement. We can avoid high costs of healthcare down the road if we can maintain a healthy lifestyle and give ourselves a good chance to live a healthy life long into retirement. And then third, because it's third on the list in actual risks, we're going to talk about market risk, but maybe spend less time consuming financial news. If you've got a solid financial plan, if you've got an investment approach that's rooted in evidence, it's low cost, it's diversified, you have permission to think less about the daily movements of the market, and maybe it'll stress you out less thinking about what's going on in the market, knowing that you have a solid plan in place. Hopefully you found this video to be helpful. I've included a link to the white paper I've been discussing on today's video in the comment section below. There's also some other resources down there that I encourage you to check out. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments section. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you want to get more videos like these. Thanks for watching this video, and I'll speak with you soon. Take care.